iPhone 6 Plus TriStar repair. Let's see if I can get all of it. Step 1, remove the shield. There you go. Shield. And you see it. Shield is removed. So before I do anything, I'm gonna test some voltages around the TriStar, okay? Just to see if I can determine if it really is the TriStar or not for next time. So the customer has already sent. He took it to Apple. They replaced the charge port and the battery multiple times. Same thing. I verified it with my Port-a-Pal. 0 amps draw, no charging. Phone works though. So what I'm gonna do now is I hooked up a battery to it, charge port, and I'm gonna plug this puppy in. Okay. Then I'm gonna measure some voltages here, and we will see what the voltages are. Sometimes, just want to see if I'm right or not. So I normally just pump this sucker to ground, and I don't know if you guys can see this or not, but here you go. I'm just gonna. You guys probably can't see it, but you know what? Let me switch to the other camera here. Alright, you guys can see a little better now. So let's measure some voltages here. So this is 2.2. And there's 0 volts on this line right here, which I find like this is usually where it's 2.7, 5, 1.8. Alright, so let's go here and take a look. See if we can find what they're supposed to be. Alright, so I was getting, see, this is supposed to be 3 volts, 3.3 volts ACC. It's kind of weird though, because I have an iPad 4 with the same problem. There's 0 volts on this ACC line. So this is supposed to be, let's see, 3 volts there, 1.8 there, and I'm getting like 2.2 there. So it's okay, so let's try this. Let's see, 3 volts here. 3 volts, 1.8. So 3 volts there, 1.8. That's the 1.8. Okay. Let's do it again. So that's supposed to be 2.8. 3 volts. Eight. I don't know what I'm doing now. Let's see. So I'm getting battery, I'm getting USB. So I'm getting stuff from the transistor here. I think that's a transistor. But I'm not getting anything from, let's see, what is this? Charger LDO. Let's see if I'm getting anything from there. Just this. I'm getting 4.8 to the charger LCO. Okay. So the only thing that I'm not really getting is this right here. I should be getting 3.3 volts there, and that's ACC charger. Okay, so let's do this. All right, just to confirm, I'm gonna use iCloud locked phone and test the voltage there, and we'll go from there. And I got my battery and my USB hooked up, and let's go back here and measure these voltages again. Okay. So ground. Missing a cap here. So let's see what this. See, this is 3.3 volts. Okay. It's supposed to show 3.3 volts. This is 3 volts. That's 3 volts. So ACC 3 volts is bad. Okay. So I think that's the tell right there. You know, this is 4.8, so I'm getting stuff from the transistor. This should be 5. That's 5. I think this is my battery, 4.1. 4. Okay. So the tell to determine whether it's a TriStar problem is this right here. This is 3.3 volts on a good iPhone that charges. One that doesn't charge, you get 0 volts on that line. Okay? So I think we have our answer. So I'm going to change the TriStar now, and we'll test the voltages again. Hopefully I'll get 3.3 on that. All right. So in order to fix the TriStar on a 6, we're looking at underfill here. So I'm just using a little bit of heat here. I'm at 350 degrees Celsius. And I'm just going to start picking away, dude. I don't really want to jack up these components around it. And then the other thing is, I don't want to pull any pads. Sucks doing this shit in my left hand. Let me get some smaller tweezers here. Switch hands. So this fucking component right here always comes loose, so try not to jack it up because it's a biatch. Alright, so pick the shit off of it. Alright, I think that's good enough for now. I'm gonna go torch this mother now. I'm gonna torch it and see if I can get the TriStar chip out without pulling any pads. So I'm up to 450 degrees Celsius now. And I'm going to try to lift this mother without moving these components or you know what, let me use a little flux, maybe that help. Who the fuck knows? Did I make it? Maybe. Alright, so we are almost good. Get all the black crap out, otherwise it's just gonna cause you some grief later. When I say all of it, I mean all of it. Don't jack up these components. It'll cost you another 20 minutes. Alright, that's pretty good. Okay, that's all good. So do the standard little flux. Add some leaded solder. Sorry, yeah, leaded solder. Don't rip any pads. That looks pretty good. Clean the flux, because it's going to gum up on you. And dry it all up. Everybody's happy. Apply a little more flux. I got my MG Chemicals Super Wick 0.025 inch. And my micro tweezers, my Hako 2023 FM2023. And then just kind of clean it up. This will help. you from ripping any pads because the wick is always hot. You do it this way. That looks pretty good. Clean it one more time with flux. With IPA, sorry. You want to get all that gummed up flux off. Make sure it's nice and somewhat shiny. It's a little extra there. Alright, before I go any further, I'm gonna check for shorts under this thing right here. Under the chip. So I make sure there's nothing else going on, okay? So I find ground. So ground. Let's go ground. Let's go ground. And then we'll see if anything beeps here. There should be only 3 beeps. Alright, everything that's supposed to beep beeped. Let's put a new chip on now. Actually, let's find orientation first. A1 is down here, so that's where your dot is, okay? Okay, so let's see. I'm at 19 minutes now, but that's with all the testing and stuff. So here you go. I got my 1610 A3 chip. Oh, my flying A10 chip. 1610 A3. Fuck. Alright, let's get a little flux up in there. I'm just going to heat the board a little bit because there's one thing that's a little bit uneven over there. Let me get my chip off before I melt some of the solder balls on it. Okay, so I just hold it like that. I'm going to melt the chip. I'm just going to melt the solder just a little bit to make it even. I didn't really do a very good job of it, but let me just remove this because that's gonna make it uneven and shit, and it's gonna cause maybe a little bit of pain right there. Okay, that's gone. All right, so let's get our chip back on here. I'm not trying to do this again, so it's better to be safe than sorry with anything here. Alright. The dot goes to the bottom right. Just make sure you know that. And position the chip as best as you can. I think that's about good. So let's get our heat sinks. I really don't. I try not to touch the chip once I have it in place because it's not very hard to kind of wiggle it out of place and then find yourself screwed. So I just leave it once I have it in place, and it's so long as it's pretty good, it's gonna move in place once the solder melts. You'll see it wiggle in a little bit here. As soon as the solder melts, it'll wiggle. That was a lot of heat, I felt like. But I didn't see it really move, so I don't know what the hell happened there. Anyways, that's why I use this Kapton. Alright, I think we're pretty good here. Let me fucking move this shit. And it's still really hot, so I don't want to jack anything up here. Alright, so let's test it now. Let's hook this battery back up in the charge port, and let's see if we get 3.3 volts on that damn charger. Alright. Alright, here's the test right here. I should be getting 3.3 volts on that. Getting 2.8. And 3 volts there. 3.3, there you go. 3 volts there. 1.8 there. So let's test it one more time, okay? So there you go. 3.3. Okay. Alright, so I'm pretty sure this is gonna work now. You know what? I'm gonna show the end of it too. So let me pause it here, and I'll show it assembled and working and charging. Alright. Shit's a little messy here, but I'm gonna plug it in for the first time. You can see my charger. And let's give it a shot here. So even before it was recognizing charger, it just wasn't charging. Okay, but now we're getting 3.3 volts on that ACC line. So I think, pretty sure we're good. Okay, so basically we're just gonna look up here, and the hell's up with this damn trash? Shit. Look up here, just make sure. All right, so I had to cut that out because it showed the he was getting text messages. The customer was getting text messages, and his phone number showed up. I don't want to put it in the video here. Anyways, as you can see, I'm gonna unplug it, plug it, and we are charging. Okay. So TriStar, if you're ever in doubt about it, just pop it open, measure that ACC power and voltage there, and if it says 0, then you got a TriStar problem, most likely. I've seen it where sometimes there's a short and you're getting 0 volts on that ACC line too. So test for shorts while you're in there. So we're good to go. All right. So that's iPhone 6 TriStar repair.